Okay guys, before we get started with the Dynamite review, if you guys were looking for my last episode of Booking the Wrestler Impact Edition, I decided to skip today and put it on Thursday. When I recorded it on Tuesday and I knew about the tribute that's coming out today, I just realized it was wrong. I just couldn't bring myself to just do it. In fact, I even say it on the video that I'm skipping Wednesday and doing it Thursday. So if you're looking for it, I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. Now, I'm not going to lie. This show was not bad. It was good. Very good, decent. But it did make me feel a bit awkward. I'm not going to lie about it. There's nothing wrong with having a tribute to someone who passes away. It's just that with this entire year where things have not been easy for me, particularly a death in the family, it has made me feel a little awkward. I won't lie. It did. It made me feel a little uncomfortable. Not because it was so bad, it was disgusting. It just made me feel a little uncomfortable. It doesn't take anything away from the show. And the show was good. And I know not everyone's going to be happy about the 6-man tags. We had 3 of them. But it was understandable. They wanted to do it because certain people wanted to perform for him. And that's why I'm sure this was done, because you can see how the show went. This was a total sweep for Dark Order. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is a tribute to Dark Order because of Brodie Lee. I know I should be starting the review, but I'm going to talk. You can see I'm feeling a little awkward right now. It's upsetting me a little bit. Look, guys. A lot of people liked John Herber, WWE, and when it comes to AEW, they really liked him. There was not a bad word about him. Of course, not everyone's going to say a bad word to someone who passed away. But from what I know, even when he left the company, there was never a bad word from him. He never had an attitude. He just never had a problem with anybody generally. And after hearing the outcry, particularly from Bray Wyatt himself, he was upset about this. This really hurt him badly. And he did something on Instagram and spoke about it. I did hear what was spoke about. It's understandable why this show was done. He was that special of a person. So, the opening had Moxley in it. And how he interacted. Well, not interacted. How he knew him. How he cared about him. Everybody who did videos was John Moxley. It was Darby Allin, who I felt really felt the most special, because Darby Allin is somebody I truly believe is the second coming of Mick Foley. I know people will say Sting, but I say Mick Foley. And when he interacted with Brodie Lee, it felt like the most important to me personally. Because yes, you had Chris Jericho talking, you had several people that was talking about, I'm not going to mention them all. The video packages for everyone was really special. And it was touching. But I think the one for me was Darby Allin. How Darby really wished he was alive. Not just because he wanted to wrestle him, but because I think he would have gained the most out of it. I think he's more of a kindred spirit to him. Because Brodie Lee, to me, felt like a Mick Foley. He does. He did. That's what Brodie felt like to me. And seeing Darby Allin being like a Mick Foley, I think they really were kindred spirits to each other. Just that was me. Now, you had Colt and the Bucks versus, well, Private Party and Hardy. The Private Party Hardy was, they had to do the storyline. Because you can see that when it comes to Matt Hardy, he's acting more aggressive. He's acting more heelish. And he's trying to drag Private Party down with him. To become more like him. And in this story of this match, which wasn't really the best match for me personally. I didn't hate the match. Particularly that it was Colt Cabana who won it. He was of Dark Order. He had to win it. It was fine. But when it came to Matt Hardy, I felt like I kind of wish there was no story to it. Of Matt Hardy. It could have just been a straight match. That's just the way I'm feeling. I mean, Matt is going to stay in character, which I commend him. It's hard to do that when you know somebody that just passed away and you're emotional and you want to stay professional. So Matt kept to his character. But I think maybe it would have been better if they did not stick to character. That this was like a Brian Pillman tribute show like it was back in 2000 when Brian Pillman passed away the way he did. There was no attitude. There was no storylines. This was just straight up wrestling. I think for this match and some of the others were more better because there was more emotion. You actually see them being more emotional even though they still had to do heels and faces. I think it could have went that way. That's just me. You guys tell me below. You had Butcher and the Blade versus Archer, Stu, and Evil Uno. Stu Grayson is a beast. I really wish they would do more with Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. Maybe they will be going forward. And then seeing Lance Archer come out as Brodie, well, not Brodie Lee, but Luke Harper. Dressed as Luke Harper of the WWE in tribute to him. The thing that got me, I really wanted to see Luke Harper next or face a Lance Archer. That was something I wanted to see. Two huge guys, the biggest guys in the company, eventually go nose to nose, head to head. And that's what I wanted. And seeing him dressed as Luke Harper of WWE was a very special thing. And I'm sure not many people are going to say, I'm sure many people are going to say, why did he have to dress with Luke Harper? Why didn't he just dress as Brodie Lee? Well, that was not going to be something he could do because of what happened with Silver. Silver dressed as Brodie Lee. He had to dress as Luke Harper. And it's fine with me. I found it a beautiful tribute to him. I think that would have been good. And it was. Now, of course, it was the Dark Order who won in this as well. The entire show was about Dark Order, straight out. So I don't need to say who won, but you guys know the deal. Now, when it came, well, I should back up a little bit before I go to the next match. The thing that was very beautiful was Kingston. Kingston really did talk very eloquently. He said straight out before the match even started, "Brother, I love you." You could see how upset he was. He legitimately was crying. He had to do his job. He had to get in that ring because he wanted to perform and honor Brodie. But he looked like he just wanted to cry. Literally. He wanted to just tear up and just cry right there. He did. But he's a professional. So I really did like and respect that. Now, Paige, Silver, and Rhodes versus MJF with Santana Ortiz. This was my favorite match of the night. It was. I felt this match was the best match for me. Particularly that it was Silver who is really looking good. I mean, we know how good Adam Page is. We know how good Santana Ortiz and MJF as a heel. Messing with -1, which is Brodie Lee's son, Brodie Jr. Messing with him. And I know that had to be hard. You guys got to understand how it can be for a dick wrestler. I mean, look, we know MJF is a damn good heel wrestler. He is damn good. But in this situation, easily he was being so professional to stay to character when probably he did not want to do it. He didn't want to have to mess with his son. He didn't want to have to mess with him, even though he did take a kendo stick to the face when Brodie Lee's son hit him in the face at the end of the match. But I'm sure it was not easy for him to do that because he didn't want to do it. Because particularly his own grandfather died. If he wasn't lying, I believe he was telling the truth from me. Well, he could be lying. But you get my point. Dude, it had to be hard for him. And I felt this was the best match of the night for me. It was fast-paced. It was well done. Silver shined the most. And when it was all over, when the match was done, and Silver won the match, just like Colt did. Colt Cabana did as well. He was emotional. Silver just dropped to his knees and just started weeping. And then what made it even better, Wolo comes out to mess with everybody and started fighting with everybody because he's trying to save the team. And Eric freaking Rowan shows up. He's in my face with the poster. what the paper saying, I will be seeing you. I believe that's what it was. I can't remember right now. It was beautiful to see Eric Rowan there. He's not with the company now. And he's in AEW. Even if it was just his one-off, having him there, a person who worked with... He was working with him for years. He knows his family. He probably loved him like a brother. And having him there at the end, when it was all over and Silver crying, was the most special point of the show, other than the ending of the show. That was for me. Anna Jade and Conti versus, I still don't like Britt Baker in her character. It just doesn't resonate with me. Penelope Forbes. I love that woman. The gorgeous woman. I marry that woman, never leave her. I mean, all four of these women are beautiful. Even Adam Cole's wife is a gorgeous woman. Out of those three women, Kanji, Jade, and Forbes, I would probably take Anna Jade. I would take Anna Jade. If she would have an old man like me. You never know. I mean, Kurt Angle managed to land a gorgeous woman at his age. I'm waiting for you, lady. Wherever you are, I'm here. But this match was the weakest match of the entire show. Not that it wasn't, they didn't try. But it just felt like it's the weakest match of the entire show. It just did. It wasn't a bad match. It just felt like the weakest because of how the women have been booked for the last year. The women have been you know how the women of AEW have been booked. So this was the weakest one. Not because they didn't give their best. It's just that all these women have not been promoted properly on Dynamite. And I'm going to leave it at that. And you could see that Anna Jade was upset. It's good to see that all of them the people who had these matches were the ones who asked for them, I'm sure. And they got their gift. They got the wish to perform for the person they did care about, who's their friend, and maybe a little bit more like someone they love like family. The final match of the night. Team Taz versus the makeshift Dark Order of 10, Cody, and Orange Cassidy. The dream match of -1. -1, Brodie Jr. wanted this match. He specifically wanted 10, Cody, and the Orange Cassidy. It meant a lot to him to have those three in a match against Team Taz. It was a good match. And in the end, it was, of course, Dark Order who won. Well, 10 who won. He's the one who got the pin. It was obvious. He was going to get it. So the thing that was the most important to me wasn't that match. It was the ending. Once Cody stayed in the ring, everyone was gone, and he spoke. Now, many people are going to say that he's a dick, that he probably wasn't really being emotional. I do believe he was emotional. I do believe he cared. And he wanted to show how important it was to see a person for who they were, not for the person of what you hear. Of course, that's not the line he said. That's just me. And he called out Herbert's wife and his oldest son, who I think he's like 6 or 7 years old right now, and his youngest son is 3. But I think his son's 6 or 7 years old. He comes out in a mask with his mother. Tony Khan comes out, and Tony presents the TNT title to Brodie Jr. and says, your father is retired. His boots are in the ring, because that's what happened. Brodie Jr. puts his dad's boots in the ring, in the center of the ring. Usually that means the person's retired, or in this case, they passed away. You got a handkerchief going across it because of Cody. And Tony Khan clearly says his dad is one of the greatest champions, taken away from Cody, that we've ever had. And this championship goes to Brodie Jr., a championship, the champion for life. And he presents it to him. And you can see 10 Well, now I don't think 10 was still in the ring, but I can't remember. It's just, this was a beautiful tribute with the video package afterward of all the people in AEW and WWE. Like I said in the opening of this video, when it came to doing Dynamite, Vince had to be contacted by Tony Khan and said, probably, Vince, look, we're competitors, but I want to show images of the people that are in your company. I wanted permission. I don't want to start a fight with you. I don't want to have any type of trouble. Let me show images of your people with him when he was Luke Harper. And it's obvious that Vince agreed. He had to agree. And even though Vince right now is a freaking asshole, that he's not treating his wrestlers correctly. He's not. He's not booking his wrestlers. Calm down. He's not booking his wrestlers right. He's not letting them make their own money. He's stealing money from them because of what's going on with Twitch. He's not taking care of them because of how the pandemic was and how many people have gotten sick or became positive with the virus. Vince has not done a good job. He has not. He is an ass. He's running his company into the ground and treating his fans of his company and his wrestlers like crap. But I have to give him props on this one because he could have been a fucking dick and said, no fucking way. Use your own images from your own people. He could have done that. But Vince, through Tony Khan, agreed to do it, allowed to show not only Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, you saw Big E with him, and Xavier Woods because Up, Down, Down. You saw the entire roster, including people from NXT when they were in NXT, which was Sami Zayn, which was Eric Rowan, and anyone else that he was known to be around before the pandemic and before he left. That was the wisest thing Vince could have done. One of the things I will give him props on. I don't change my mind about Vince. Vince is still a stupid ass. He doesn't listen to his fans. He's not treating his wrestlers right and stealing money from them when they could be doing their own money and their own time. He's treating them bad. He didn't take care of them when he should have. But I will give him this. And that's my review of AEW Dynamite, the tribute to Brodie Lee. This was a hard one, guys. I'm not going to lie. For someone like me who has anxiety with depression, who has lost a relative in the last 3 months. One of my cousins passed away, unfortunately, not related to Colbert, but he did pass away. And having my own stresses, which unfortunately have, and I'm not going to tell you the stories of it, it has not been good for me. It even made me bald when I shouldn't be so bald. More. I mean, I was going bald, but now my hair is a lot more bald. It has not been an easy year. But it is good to see that people can still come together and honor someone that they respected, they appreciated, and they loved. And I do believe as long as AEW exists, John Herbert's wife and 2 sons are going to be taken care of. They're going to let John's wife probably work for AEW. She's going to get a salary. I'm sure of it. They're not just going to let her just get money. They're going to let her work there. She will always have a job. The kids will always have a place to call like a home. I do believe that. For as long as AEW exists, that is what you're going to see. And I find that a beautiful thing. I know it has to be that way. But this is just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.